Hello everyone, it's Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Now today I do have to warn you, nothing bad, it's not a bad warning, but I'm using a different camera and a different camera position, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out. And the reason I'm doing that is because today we're going to use a lump of clay, this particular lump of clay. Again, like the last video, it's DAS clay, but again, you don't have to use DAS, you can use any clay that you like. You can even use that clay that you put in the oven if you want to, but I don't do that. I'm using air dry clay, so any air dry clay will do. So this is just about the last of my little pat that I had sitting in my drawer. And we're going to make, I know Christmas is over now really, but we're still in the season of Christmas. So we're going to make a little mini Christmas tree. I know it doesn't look much like a Christmas tree at the moment. In fact, it doesn't look at all like a Christmas tree at the moment. But we're going to do this, and as I say, I have got the camera in a different position, because if I had it overhead where I normally have it, you wouldn't see a thing. So I've never done this before, so here goes nothing, as they say. So what we're going to do, that was a good start, wasn't it? I just knocked it. Well, hopefully I won't do that again. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this ball of clay, and we're going to start off just by moulding it or sculpting it into a cone shape. And what you do is you just turn it like that and squeeze it as you go. So you squeeze and turn, squeeze and turn. It's a bit like milking a cow but upside down. So only you don't turn it when you're milking a cow. So, but you do squeeze. But anyway, that's not what we're going to do today. So we're just going to squeeze it and turn it at the same time. And if you keep on doing that, as you can see, eventually you get this beautiful cone shape like that. Now, that didn't take long, did it? So, before we go any further, what I am going to do is I'm just going to try and smooth out some of these rough edges. Not that it matters, because what we're going to do, actually, do you know what, I'm not even going to bother. Because what we're going to do next, we're going to take, this is just an ordinary ball tool or an embossing tool, but because it's a Christmas tree at the moment, it looks like a thimble that hasn't got a hole through the middle. So, it looks like a solid thimble, and we don't want it to look like that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hold it on the top with one finger of one hand, and all we're going to do is rough it up a bit, for want of a better expression. So keeping its shape as much as we can, all I'm going to do is use my ball tool like that, and we're just going to pop it in like that. We may lose the shape a little bit, but that's not too much of a problem, because we can always reshape it when we're done. So we're just going to, all I'm doing is holding it up like that, and pressing it in like that. Now if you've got a knife, a crafting knife, you can do that, or a sculpting knife. You can use that, or anything that you've got to just make a texture. All we're really doing, you don't have to be too accurate for this. Oops, come back. All we're doing is creating a texture. So you can just go up to the top like that if you want to. You can do it in sections and just dab it like that. That's all I'm doing, is dabbing like that. So if I just turn it round, and we'll do it in sections, and then we'll know when we're done. So this is a totally new experience for me, and I have to tell you folks, it does feel very strange. So I hope it doesn't look as strange as it feels. So we're going to carry on, and then of course, because it's a Christmas tree, or hopefully it'll look like a Christmas tree by the time we're finished, we'll need to put some colour on it. And if you watched my previous video, you've probably guessed what we're going to use. So we're going to carry on and just finish adding the texture all the way around our Christmas tree like that, and we're more or less done. And it has come out of shape a little bit, but we won't worry too much. And of course, once you've done that, you're going to lose a little bit of texture, but as long as we've got some texture, we're not going to be too worried about it. So this is our first attempt, so we're not going to be too worried about it, so as long as it looks reasonable. So if there's a bit, sorry about that, that you didn't quite, or it did flatten out a bit when you reshaped it, just hold it gently with one hand and give it a poke with the other. So there we go. I think we're going to leave it like that for now. Well, as far as sculpting is concerned anyway. We can always finish it off later. We can always reshape it. So if you joined me for my last video, well, that looks like it's going to fall over. Let's just straighten it up a bit. You will know, if you join me for my last video, I use this. I use some nail polish. And that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to use two colours of nail polish. First of all, obviously, because it's a Christmas tree, we're going to use green. So if you can hear that scraping noise, that's my new ring. that's scraping on the board, and if it gets in the way too much, I shall take the thing off. It's very nice, but it's rather big, as most of my rings are. But if it becomes too much of an annoyance, I shall take it off. So I'm just, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my nail polish a bit closer to where I'm working so that I don't have to keep stretching so far. So we paint this all the way around. It's a bit of a nuisance because you have to keep on going back and dipping in, but that's okay, just as well it's only a miniature. And this is about, I didn't measure it, but it's roughly about 1.5 inches. To qualify for a miniature, if you're interested in making miniatures, it has to be no higher than 2 inches. So don't ask me what that is in centimetres because I have absolutely no idea. But a miniature can be no higher than 2 inches. It used to be 1 inch, I believe, but they've extended it a little. But so it has to be, oh sorry, I've done it again. Never mind. Hopefully I'll try not to do that too much. It's because the camera's right in front of me rather than above me. And it's a very strange experience, I have to tell you folks. But never mind, we'll get used to it. I'll use the other hand, then perhaps I won't keep knocking anything. So we'll paint with the other hand. That's okay, we can do that, no problem at all. So you can see that building up really, really nicely. So we're just going to carry on painting our Christmas tree with green and covering that clay. And it will dry hard, and using nail polish will actually expedite, sorry, that's a posh word, isn't it? Make it quicker for it to harden. Now you can use, if you don't want to use nail polish, if you don't want to be quite as crazy as me, that's no problem at all. You can use acrylic paint. I'm just going to move it over so it's more in the centre. You can even use watercolour paint, but a big tip here guys, if you're going to use watercolour paint, mix it with a little PVA glue first because that will make it permanent. So especially on clay, sometimes watercolour isn't quite strong enough, so you pop some PVA glue in with it. So we're going to use a red glitter nail polish just to give it a bit of sparkle because after all it is a Christmas tree. So just like this, so you can see that going on really nicely. So we're just going to dip it in like that. It doesn't have to sparkle all over, but just here and there will do, or will be enough I should say. So I'm just going to come around this side and put some more on. So move that in a bit. So we'll dip it in and we will go around. I won't go all the way around, I'll just do the bits that you can see for now. And I'll finish it off a bit later on. So there we go guys. There is our clay Christmas tree, our air dry clay Christmas tree. Actually I can go around the rest of it without moving it, which is even better. So there you go guys, I think we're just about done. Well, that didn't take too long, did it? Wondered how long that would take from scratch. So I'm just, if you saw me moving my hand there, all I was doing was putting the lid back on, because what we don't want is nail polish going all over the place, because it'll stink and it'll stain. So I'm not going to try putting any more texture in it, because the likelihood is we'll take all the paint off or all the glaze off, although this will dry quite quickly. So there we go guys. That you don't have to worry too much about that, just slide it out of the mess there, but we'll leave that mess there for now. And there you go guys, there is our little clay Christmas tree, which has been painted with 2 coats or 2 colours of nail polish, but you can use acrylic paint or use watercolour and mix it with a little PVA glue, just a little bit. So I would recommend, if you are going to use your watercolours, half of PVA glue to whatever watercolour, so twice as much watercolour as PVA glue in other words, and don't have it too wet. Keep your paint quite thick. Obviously moisten your brush, but don't have it too thin. So paint it on quite thick. Pretend you're painting in acrylic. So there you go. There is our little Christmas tree, and he really is quite cute. I'm rather pleased with the way that came out. I was going to risk putting a little star on the top, but I think we're going to leave it there for the time being. And I will be back on Friday. Now I'm not quite sure yet whether I'm going to do another clay or whether I'm going to go back to doing our paper craft. What I might do is show you some of the collections that I'm making to build up on my blog, and I will add a link to my blog so that you can see how we're doing so far. But today is the 4th of January, so there are four little sculptures in the display. So I'll show you what I've done so far. Actually, I think I've cheated because I've already done tomorrow, so there are 5 in there. So I will add a link to my blog so you can have a look and see how it's building up. And you can follow me on my blog if you want, and there'll be a little form for you to fill in there as well. So that's a shameless plug, I know. But that's it for today. I will see you on Friday, either with another clay project or our usual paper craft. So it'll be a surprise to me too, I expect. So there you go, guys. That's it for today. Have a great day. And if you haven't seen me before, Happy New Year. And I hope you have a wonderful year, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and as always, happy crafting. Bye bye for now.